Here on Talkin' Fight for another episode of Boxing News today from the Mecca of Boxing, Toronto, Canada. Here we go. Let's start off with a story about Martin Bakole, who I mentioned just the other day. And now it seems that the WBA has ordered Martin Bakole uh, to fight an eliminator against Cassius Chaney. The story reads, the WBA Championships Committee has ordered an eliminator between number one heavyweight Martin Bakole and the highest available contender, Cassius Chaney, who is sitting at number 7 in their rankings. The formal communication has been to both fighters, has been made to both fighters' teams, giving them 30 days to sign the bout contract and fight for the opportunity to become the next mandatory WBA challenger. In the event that the parties do not reach an agreement or either party refuses to sign the contract, the Championships Committee may open up the fight to purse bid with a 50% purse split. It's interesting to see also in unrelated news, Eric Rosa has vacated his WBA minimum weight title. The Dominican WBA minimum weight world champion, Eric Rosa, 6-0, undefeated by the way, has renounced his titles as he plans to move up to junior flyweight class. He's 22 years old and growing into his body. He said, "My body has grown and I now desire to acquire world title belts in the 108 and 112 pound divisions." So good luck to him. WBC has put Alicia Baumgartner on probation, it seems. A sample collected from the WBC super featherweight world champion Alicia Baumgartner back in July of last year, in connection with her fight, a defense against Christina Linardo, that took place in Detroit, yielded an adverse analytical finding for a banned substance. And so in compliance, an investigation was undertaken. And as a result, she's not been found, shall we say, guilty of having ingested any banned substance. But as a precaution, I suppose they put her on probation and sent her to training with respect to their clean boxing program protocols. Okay. And other women's boxing news, I see that we've got a big fight coming up between Natasha Jonas and Michaela Mayer. They're going to clash for the IBF welterweight title. It's this year's biggest female fight of the year, I suppose, coming up to us in January. But let's see if I got that wrong. Maybe they're fighting in February. Anyway, Jonas, as we know, two-weight world champion and Olympic veteran, will defend the belt in front of a hometown crowd over in Liverpool, England, as American Michaela Mayer once again ventures to the UK. Jonas is 39 years of age, by the way, collected the IBF belt last year after becoming unified champion at super welterweight in 2022, while Mayer, 33 years of age, is a former super featherweight champion. Mayer held 2 titles in that defense until her narrow loss to Alicia Baumgartner in 2022, a year prior to that adverse finding, by the way. But she bounced back with an interim title win at lightweight in 2023 before moving up a division again. Now she moves up one more time to challenge Jonas in enemy territory. So let's have a quick look here. It's taking place, doesn't even say when it's taking place. There it is. Jonas versus Mayer will take place Saturday, January 20th. That's in a few days at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, taking place at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for those of us here on the East Coast of North America, with ring walks expected at 6:30 p.m. for those two champs. And it's available apparently on Sky Sports over in the UK, and I guess we'll have to look for it elsewhere in North America. Anyway, also on that card, it's interesting to note, Karis Erdingstall is back in the ring and in the featherweight division fighting Lila Dos Santos Furtado. There are other fellas fighting as well. Jack Cullen versus Zach Chelly for the British and Commonwealth super middleweight title. And in the middleweight division, we're going to see Aaron McKenna versus Linus Adolfa and Mark Jeffers take on Jermaine Brown in the super middleweight division. In other female boxing news, I see that one of our Canadians sporting an 11-5 record, 3 knockouts, Candy Wyatt, is taking on Maricela Cornejo at Orlando, Florida, February 2nd, coming up very soon on DAZN. Let's have a look now across the world at the heavyweights. Fury and Usyk will fight for a new undisputed belt. This was unveiled at their press conference the other day. Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk will fight for a bespoke, undisputed heavyweight championship belt made by Saudi Arabia. Both men, as you know, will face off February 17th, 2024, for the right to become the world's undisputed heavyweight champion. Boxing's last undisputed champion was in 1999, when Canadian and British and Jamaican Lennox Lewis became the champ when he fought Evander Holyfield and won. And Fury defends his WBC heavyweight title and the lineal championship against Usyk's WBA, WBO, and IBF belts. Fury, by the way, has won every belt at heavyweight, but has never been undisputed. As for Usyk, he has become undisputed at cruiserweight, as Tyson Fury often reminds us, as he attempts to join Terence Crawford and Ngannou Inoue by becoming a two-weight undisputed champion. The new undisputed belt will be added to those belts on offer and is quite a cute little thing, saying, quite frankly, heavyweight undisputed champion in its center. Said Frank Warren. They said whoever wins the Fury versus Usyk fight will get the belt. It's not any one governing body is giving it away. They don't have mandatories. The winner is the unified champion. So anyone who wins, he'll be fighting for that right. Elsewhere on the Fury Usyk card, Jay Opatea will take on Marius Brides. They were going to fight, if you remember, for the rematch for the IBF cruiserweight belt, but that was given away when Jay decided to fight in Saudi Arabia for the Day of Reckoning battle. Anyway, so he's now set to fight Marius Brides once again after he belted Eris Zorro out of the ring in the first round. Let's move along, see who else is fighting. Let's have a quick look here. So, at the press conference, by the way, there was a bit of a challenge made by the Saudis for Matchroom and Queensbury to have a 5v5 event, 5 fighters from Matchroom versus 5 fighters from Queensbury, and both Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren agreed to do that. As we all know, Anthony Joshua is fighting Francis Ngannou on March 8th. The latest super fight, as we know, to be staged in Saudi Arabia, the first of many, I'm sure, that will be fought in Saudi Arabia this year, and I hope Beterbiev and Bivol will be one of those. Anyway, Joshua and Ngannou, their bout comes after the ex-UFC champ Ngannou raised eyebrows, according to The Sun over in the UK, in his boxing debut against Tyson Fury back in October. As for AJ, the two-time heavyweight world champion, he defeated Otto Wallen via technical knockout on that blockbuster Day of Reckoning card last month. Their March event is also set to feature a bumper undercard, including, as I said the other day, Zhilai Zhang defending his interim WBO title against Joseph Parker. Nick Ball will challenge Ray Vargas for his WBC featherweight belt, whilst Mark Chamberlain and Roman Fury are also slated to appear on the undercard. Promoter Eddie Hearn. Just can't say enough about Eddie Hearn. Promoter Eddie Hearn feels that Joseph Parker should be the favorite. Now he's using words like should be the favorite over WBO interim heavyweight champ Zhilai Zhang on March 8th in their co-feature in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Hearn believes that Zhang, 26-1-1, has received too much credit for his 2 victories over Joe Joyce and his questionable defeat against Filip Hrgovic. This is courtesy of BoxNews24.com, by the way. He says Zhang has been exalted and put on a pedestal for destroying Joyce twice, stopping him in the 6th round in the first fight in April 2023, and then in 3 rounds in the rematch in September last year. Hearn doesn't mention that Joyce dominated Parker, stopping him in the 11th round in September 2022. That was one-sided event for sure. It's hard for boxing fans to wrap their heads around Hearn's new view because common sense would tell you that if Parker lost badly to Joyce and Zhang destroyed that same fighter twice, the only conclusion you can come to is Joseph is doomed against Big Bang on March 8th. Nevertheless, let's see what Eddie Hearn had to say. Quoting, I think it's a great fight. I think Joseph Parker is the favorite. I think a lot of people were taking the victories over Joe Joyce for Zhang and probably the performance against Filip Hrgovic in putting this guy on a pedestal, giving too much credit for his fights against Joyce and Hrgovic. He's a great fighter, but if Joe uses the movement like he did in the Wilder fight, I believe he's the favorite in the fight. Keeping in mind, Wilder did not look in top shape from the waist down. Here's one way of looking at Hearn's view. If Zhang beats Parker, which will likely happen, there will be a lot of pressure from fans put on Hearn to match Anthony Joshua against Zhilei Zhang. That's, of course, if Francis Ngannou doesn't beat Joshua on March 8th, which boxing fans, I have predicted. Many fans will put Hearn's feet to the fire demanding that he match Joshua against Zhang if the two come out victorious in their fights on March 8th. Hearn won't be able to get his fans to quiet down by dismissing Zhang's win, like he's doing with victories over Joyce and his controversial loss to Hrgovic. It goes on and on. Alrighty, let's have a quick look at Canelo Alvarez. Again, according to BoxingNews24.com, rather than seeing the pound-for-pound star Canelo facing lackluster opposition like Jaime Munguia, Jermall Charlo, fans, yes, would prefer that he run the gauntlet by facing these killers in the following order: Artur Beterbiev, David Benavidez, and Dmitry Bivol. The question is, if Canelo, 62-2, by the way, 39 knockouts, did fight these gang of three, how many of them would he beat, if any? Could the 33-year-old Canelo defeat any of these three talents, or would he lose badly to all of them and be reduced to the level of a supernova? This writer can't picture Canelo defeating Beterbiev, Bivol, or Benavidez because those guys have styles that are all wrong for the Mexican star. In the case of Beterbiev, he is so strong, he would simply set up shop on the inside and batter Canelo to the ground repeatedly. Wow. Bivol, combination punching, mobility, stamina. Benavidez, volume punching, speed, punch resistance. Yeah, Canelo could hurt Benavidez, says the writer, if he gets too greedy with his combination punching because he goes overboard and forgets his defense. Well, this writer's being pretty good. Go to BoxingNews24.com for more info on what they have to say about Canelo Alvarez's chances against those three. Sean Jones is that writer's name, by the way. Let's move along to the last story of the day regarding the impact of boxing on those who might have had too few in their lifetime or in their young days. Let's have a quick look here at this story coming out of England. I mentioned the other day, what's it called? OnlyFans, and some of the ladies who are OnlyFans members, I suppose. I don't know how it all works, but over in the UK, these OnlyFans girls go toe-to-toe, courtesy of KSI and his group Misfits. So anyway, this is the headline. I love it. It says, I was a party girl who snorted cocaine and ketamine, but now I'm sober thanks to boxing. Elle Brooke bravely reveals. I'm not going to read the entire article. It is quite lengthy, but the OnlyFans star is 3-1 as a boxer since making her debut in July 2022 against a girl from Love Island, a TV show over there in the UK, a woman by the name of AJ Bunker. So this OnlyFans star, she's quite a lovely young lady, but she's a boxer now and taking it quite seriously. She says, I was a really bad party girl. Any substance I could find, I was putting up my nose. I was taking it to the max, she admits. Whereas now I don't drink. I've had 18 months sober or a year, and now I just live a boring life. I don't go out on the weekends because I'm too focused on my eating and my training habits. My circle has gotten a lot smaller. I don't see as many people as I once did before because I'm not in that lifestyle of partying and going out anymore. So my life has gotten so boring. I'm married to my house. I'm honestly in these four walls constantly as work, work, work for me. And that is exactly what boxing does. Uh, and she said, she goes on, she admits she was suffering depression before boxing helped her turn herself around. Wow. It's two polar opposites, really, she says, when comparing her past and her current life. From going out every week to the pub, going clubbing, sniffing tons of cocaine, ketamine, anything you find on the other side, watching what you put in your body, dieting, health, and exercise, and a regular routine nowadays. Routine is my favorite things about boxing because it gives me a reason to wake up in the morning, gives me structure for the day. I think I would 100% be living that same lifestyle, maybe not as crazy because I'm aged over those 18 months. I'm not in my early 20s anymore. But 100%, I'd still be going out to Ibiza and stuff like that. I've had to cancel so many holidays, that kind of thing. It's been a complete 180, really. I was at one point of antidepressants taking sertraline before I started boxing. So I was relying on a pill every day to make me happy. And so I didn't have that dark suicidal thoughts, whereas now I have good days, really good days, and have those bad days, but it's more about training and what I'm focusing on. So boxing has really changed my life from being depressed, and I wouldn't say a drug addict because I wasn't a drug addict, but a party animal. To where I am now, it's been a journey. Good for her, and we look forward to seeing her result out of KSI's boxing league called Misfits over in the UK. Thanks very much for joining me. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time.